Hey, Astra Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Mars and all 12 signs. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So firstly, what does Mars represent? Mars is a planet of our strength, our energy. Wherever Mars is in the chart, it is where we put the most amount of focus and energy. So Mars is how we get things done in the world. It is all about action. Mars also is a planet of fighting and protection. But sometimes, if Mars is poorly placed in the chart, we want to be careful about this because Mars can also show anger and aggression that definitely needs to be controlled. Mars also represents siblings and males in general. It is definitely a planet that is about leadership, that's about building strategy, that is about using intelligence and action together in order to build something that is stable and long lasting. When Mars is in a difficult position, it also can increase illnesses and accidents. Mars can become very impulsive. At the same time, if Mars is placed well, it gives us a great ability to act in the moment. It gives very quick action. So, how do you interpret Mars in your chart? Well, most of you are probably familiar with your D1 Rashi chart, your natal chart. So definitely you want to see Mars from that position. But also you can see Mars from the moon sign as well. So take the moon and put it in the first house and see how Mars is placed in the chart. More importantly, though, you also want to check the D9 Navamsa to see how Mars is placed there. That will show how Mars will mature, how the fruits of your karma will actually ripen to give you the results. So that's very important to see. So, for example, if Mars is in a difficult position in the D1, but it's placed well in the D9, then definitely the qualities of Mars will improve. You also want to see Mars in the D60 for the final say. Another thing to consider is that aspects and conjunctions will change the results. So I am only giving a general overview of what the planets will do in the signs, but everyone's chart is different and unique. So you want to keep in mind other planets that are playing a role in this as well. Another thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is that I am using Vedic sidereal astrology. So if you're coming from Western tropical, this may not work for you. Make sure that you have the correct information. There's a link down below in the description so that you have your sidereal placements. So let's start off by talking about Mars in the sign of Aries. This is a very powerful position of Mars because Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. Mars is also in its office sign, its strongest home in Aries. So this is definitely going to give great results. Mars in Aries means that you are someone who's able to act very quickly in the moment. And this can be very helpful in emergency situations where you have to protect and stand up for those in need. Mars in Aries definitely makes you a leader. You assert yourself and you're not afraid to do things on your own as well. You're extremely independent, daring, and courageous. Definitely, Mars in Aries is not so much of a team player. You like to do things on your own, you like to take charge of situations. But your actions can make you a leader because you inspire others. You set an example for other people through your actions, which can be extremely inspiring and encouraging to other people. Sometimes this position could mean that you are in the military, in the police, in some kind of role of protection, of leading with this position. And definitely, this makes you a very adventurous person. You always want to have excitement and fun in your life. So you don't like to be in boring situations, to be stuck in situations for long. This definitely makes you a very passionate and adventurous person. Sometimes, if there are afflictions to Mars, then these passions can get out of control, though, where it can even show all sorts of addictions and acting solely on your passions, which is something that you want to be careful of. Sometimes you can also be a little bit egocentric in the way that you express yourself. And some people can perceive you as very headstrong, very much stubborn and determined in your ways. But you are also a very moral person. So you're very honest, very righteous in the way that you express yourself. You don't do anything that is underhanded, everything is upfront and honest. You also don't like to beat around the bush too much. You're very direct in your way of expressing yourself. You want to get straight to the point. And sometimes this position can also make you very strong physically as well. You could be very athletic or someone who just likes to be physically active. Sometimes this could give you an interest in sports, not only in the sense of playing sports, but also you may enjoy watching sports if you have Mars and Aries as well. You're definitely a very competitive and determined person, and you have the ability to win, to conquer, to progress forward in life. So you're driven, but also you can encourage other people to be victorious as well. So you always root on other people with this position as well. Sometimes this placement can also show scars and injuries. In particular, Aries rules the head area. So there may be some kind of scar on the head and face area with this placement. You're a very determined person, though. You never give up. You're always fighting. You're always picking yourself up from defeat with this placement, which ultimately makes you very successful in the end. If you have Mars in Taurus, then this means that your energy and focus is going to be more so directed towards the material aspects of life. So this can make you a very sensual person, someone who likes to indulge in material enjoyment. When it comes to relationships, though, this can get a little bit out of control, where you could become a little bit possessive and jealous in your relationships, which can cause a lot of problems for you. So that's definitely something that you want to watch out for. You're a very loyal person. You get easily attached to people, and you are driven by your sensual desires and feelings for other people. So sometimes you have an inability to let go in your connections with others. And especially in the family environment, you could have a tendency to want to keep things under control, to be in charge of the family situation. Definitely, you have a great love for home and family, though. It's very important to you. You're very passionate about your loved ones. This also can give you great artistic skill as well, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is all about the arts, beauty, design. So with Mars here, you put a lot of energy and focus into creativity as well. You can be very skillful in the areas of music and art. And sometimes you could even do this as a living and make money off of this as well. So you tend to be very successful when it comes to creativity. When it comes to anger, Taurus is a very slow moving sign. So it's very rare that you get angry. You're very slow to anger, but at the same time, Taurus is represented by a bull. So when you do get angry, you completely lose control and can create a lot of chaos with this position for sure. So that's something to watch out for as well. Sometimes anger can also come out in the way that you speak, because Taurus is the original second house, which is our speech, our voice. So when you get angry, sometimes you also can be very harsh in your speech. This is also something to watch out for. But in general, with this placement, you can be very straightforward in your speech. You speak in a very direct way that sometimes can create conflict. This also can sometimes show an inability to control your desires in terms of sensual enjoyment, especially when it comes to food with this placement. There can be some overindulgence and weight concerns that sometimes need to be looked over. This definitely can make you very skilled with wealth, though, because again, Taurus is that original second house of our wealth, our security. So this can definitely make you a very enterprising person when it comes to accumulating money. You can be skilled in all sorts of areas of finance. And ultimately, this makes you a very determined and willful person. You never back down from challenge. You're always progressing forward with this placement. If you have Mars in Gemini, this is a very interesting position because Mars and Mercury are not really friends with one another. So this is a placement where you have a lot of restless energy. You have to be on the go, have to be moving, have to be doing something with your life. And this can give you a great interest in sports, travel, all sorts of adventures, excitement in your life. But sometimes, because Gemini is about the mental sphere, this can sometimes give you some restless thoughts, which can actually lead to anxiety at times. So sometimes there's a need to find a channel to actually calm some of this energy down. This definitely can make you very successful in the business world, though. You can be very skilled at coming up with all sorts of ideas and innovative ways to gain success in business. You're an opportunist. You're always looking for the next new thing that you can jump on. And so ultimately, again, this is going to make you very successful. Sometimes you could also have an interest towards foreign people. Again, you're a traveler, you like to adventure, so you can have a great love of meeting people from all different walks of life, learning about different cultures, sometimes even speaking a foreign language because Gemini is the sign of communication. This can give you lifelong friends, though. You can have really great connections where people really support you, and this becomes beneficial to you in all aspects of life. Sometimes, though, you can get into conflicts and issues, especially in the workplace, with this sometimes. And ultimately, because this can increase anxiety and stress and nervousness, with this placement, you always want to find a channel to release this energy because, again, this can cause some health related issues that you want to watch out for. Mars in Cancer is another interesting placement. Mars is debilitated in Cancer. This doesn't necessarily make this a weak placement, though. But what happens is that because Cancer is an emotional sign, Mars loses control with this placement. So you can have very unstable moods and emotional outbursts, especially if Mars is badly damaged in the chart. Mars definitely is uncomfortable in Cancer because it's the original fourth house, which is the home environment, and Mars would rather be on the battlefield fighting. So this shows that the fight comes into the home. So you become very protective of your loved ones, of your family, sometimes even of your home country. It could take you into politics as well. But you're a very protective person, very nurturing with this placement. Sometimes you could go overboard, though, and can become a little bit overbearing in your connections. Ultimately, though, this makes you very skilled with all sorts of domestic areas of life. You could be a skilled cook. You could be very skilled in the family environment. Dealing with finances and security can be seen with this placement. You're definitely a very independent and determined person, though. You are able to do things on your own and can be very successful. With Mars in Leo, this makes you a very determined person because Leo is a fixed sign. So you are very fixed and focused with your energy. This can help you to become very successful in life. Now, because Leo is a fire sign, though, similar to Aries, sometimes there is a tendency to become a little bit impatient. And this can cause issues for you, especially because Leo can be a little bit stubborn at times. So sometimes, if things don't really go your way, you can become very frustrated and can get into all sorts of conflicts. But definitely, this makes you a very confident, courageous person, and it can even take you into dramatic arts, into politics. You want to put yourself before an audience to get attention, to get admiration. And so you do very well in these areas where you can perform and express yourself before the public. This also makes you an honorable person. You have very strong morals. You can be very chivalrous with this placement as well. And because Leo is the fifth house of romance, it especially makes you a very passionate and romantic person. You also can be very kind and generous. You want to give back to others to help those in need. Although, if this is badly afflicted, this can make you overly stubborn and egocentric. So, that's something definitely to watch out for. Definitely, though, it's going to make you stubborn in terms of your ideas, your beliefs. You're not afraid to express yourself with this placement, and you can be very argumentative at times. This definitely, though, is going to give you huge determination again. This is definitely going to take you towards great success. And sometimes you do things in a unique way that can also make you stand out. If you have Mars in Virgo, this is going to make you someone who is very critical. You are very detail oriented, very technical. You can have all sorts of skills where you are able to see details that other people are completely unaware of. So you can be very skilled in areas of technology, machinery. You can have mechanical skills with this placement, able to fix things, to put things together, to take things apart. You're a very analytical person. You can also do well in areas of research also. And you are someone who really doesn't like a situation that doesn't have enough mental stimulation. You always like to solve problems, to get to the bottom of things. So this can make you very interested in puzzles and solving problems with this placement. Ultimately, though, you're not an aggressive person. You're not so much about getting into fights with other people, but you channel your energy in terms of wanting to make things better with this placement. You want to make the world a better place. You could be an environmentalist, even. You could be into all sorts of forms of cleanliness, organization, creating a sense of balance and harmony. But because you're very critical, sometimes you can be too perfectionistic about wanting to create this sense of harmony. And this could create some conflicts for you, especially if Mars is badly afflicted in the chart. But it makes you passionate about your education. You could do very well in your studies with this placement. And because you are so concerned about the details and helping those in need, you definitely are a helpful person. You are all about the welfare of society with Mars in Virgo. If Mars is in Libra, this is a very interesting position because Mars really is far away from his own sign, his strongest sign of Aries, when he's placed in Libra. So he feels a bit uncomfortable to be in a sign that is ruled by Venus. Mars in Libra is someone who actually doesn't want a lot of conflict and difficulties in life. They want to bring about a sense of justice and harmony. Sometimes, though, because they put so much energy into trying to create justice, it could create conflicts for them, though. They can have issues sometimes with being overly compromising and overly agreeable in situations, trying to just please everyone. And this can definitely cause some problems. Mars and Libra also needs to channel their energy into something physical to get their anger and passion out because there's a tendency to hold that in. Again, there's this desire to want to please other people. So, because you can hold on to hidden anger, this can actually lead to illnesses and problems within the body that you want to be careful of. Sometimes there can be energy related issues as well. You could have a lower sense of willpower where you actually need to rest and recover at times. Also, sometimes your follow through with situations are not as strong as well. You could commit to something and not see it all the way through because of your tendency to want to please other people. So sometimes you are on the fence a little bit when it comes to coming up with decisions or seeing an action all the way through. This is something to watch out for. Ultimately, though, you can do very well in situations where there's a need for harmony because you're a very attractive and pleasing person. So, generally, you are well liked by the public. Sometimes with Mars and Libra, it can also show some issues related to the family. There could be a lot of family related conflict growing up, and you're the one who always has to take on this role of the mediator, the one who always has to deal with other people's problems. So, this is definitely why you want to be careful of people pleasing. You want to focus towards your own happiness and well being for sure. If you have Mars in Scorpio, this is an interesting position. Mars is definitely in its home sign in Scorpio, but Mars really feels stronger in the sign of Aries. So sometimes there can be conflicts that also come along with this. Scorpio is also a karmic sign because it is co ruled by Ketu. So, Mars in Scorpio, first of all, is going to make you a leader. You have huge willpower, determination, focus you're able to achieve in any situation. You definitely have a lot of pride as well. You're very confident in who you are, and you can inspire other people with your confidence for sure. This could also make you skilled in emergency situations in the medical field and doing detective work, psychology, delving into occult knowledge, research of all kind, journalism. You're someone who wants to get to the bottom of everything. So you're always looking for the deeper meaning. The problem is that Scorpio is a sign that can show some secretive concerns and issues. And so this can definitely show that you could get into power struggles, especially if this is badly afflicted in the chart. And also, you can attract a lot of jealousy and criticism from other people because you're a very powerful person. So, this tends to attract a lot of negativity. And so, sometimes there's a need to really not focus so much on the reactions of other people. But definitely, you're a very successful person and you're able to transform through the most difficult of situations. You can come out of any obstacle in life. If you have Mars in Sagittarius, then this makes you a warrior for social justice, for philosophy, religion. You have huge beliefs in life, and you use these beliefs to bring about a sense of peace and harmony within society. But you're a fighter. You're someone who is all about speaking out the truth and standing up for what you believe in. You have very strong morals. You're a very honest person with this placement. You also tend to use wisdom and spirituality to get yourself out of difficult situations. So, the knowledge that you have accumulated, everything that you have learned in life, becomes your saving grace. You also are a very restless person because Sagittarius is that original ninth house of foreign travels. So you love to travel, you love to move around. You don't like to stay in boring situations or to stay stuck in situations. You always have to have freedom and movement in life. This becomes extremely important for you. You have strong convictions. When you believe in something, when you stand for something, you are able to speak out against it. You are able to stand your ground with this placement. So, this is extremely powerful. You're an excellent debater. You can argue your point, you can express your ideas very clearly to others. Sometimes you could need change in terms of your job or business situation because, again, you're a very restless person. You don't like to be hampered in by difficult situations in life. The problem with this placement sometimes, though, is because you're so powerful, similar to Mars in Scorpio, you can attract enemies with this placement. But because Scorpio is behind Sagittarius, you can attract secret enemies that you don't even know about. But again, because you are all about truth and spirituality, you ultimately overcome your enemies and competitors. If you have Mars in Capricorn, this is another very dynamic placement of Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, it's most powerful here. And this is because Capricorn has discipline, has structure. So this Mars energy is no longer as impulsive as other placements. Now it is very much focused and directed in a very disciplined manner. So, this is definitely going to make you very successful. You're someone who can achieve your ambitions with this placement for sure. You can especially achieve great success in terms of career and status. You can climb all the way to the top position. You're someone who can get through any obstacle with your persistence and hard work. You're extremely disciplined and determined. And you can definitely gain wealth and prominence with this placement. This is very good for material success for sure. You're someone who's not afraid to put in extremely hard work and effort for long amounts of time just to get this success. So you're a very purposeful person. And in fact, you sometimes can feel irritated if you don't have this work or this purpose to drive towards in life. Definitely, this is needed for you. You're also a very independent person. You're not afraid to go at it on your own with this placement. And there is no retirement in sight for you. You're always looking to work hard towards a goal and opportunity in life. You definitely like to keep order and structure. You're very efficient. You like things to be systematic. You like things to work, to keep moving, to keep progressing in life. And sometimes you could be a little harsh to other people. You can come off as very cold in your interactions because you are all about hard work and consistency. So when other people can't measure up to this, you can become very harsh and critical towards them. This also can make you a very physically active person because also you see your body as a sense of status as well. You want to have that nice looking body with this placement. So being fit and healthy becomes something that's extremely important for you. You're definitely a competitive person and you want to be in a position of authority. So you like to be the leader, to be the boss, to be the one who's in charge of everything. But with your ability to succeed and strive for success, you become an inspiration for others. If you have Mars in Aquarius, this is a very interesting position. Aquarius is a sign that has a tendency to behave very similar to the sign of Cancer. So Mars actually feels very uncomfortable to be in Aquarius. And this is another karmic sign that is co-ruled by Rahu. So definitely with Mars being in its enemy sign of Saturn and with its agitator sign of Rahu, this is a very difficult placement sometimes. Mars in Aquarius definitely can make you very scientific, though. It can make you excel in fields of research, definitely with this placement. And this makes you someone who is all about the rights of others. You want to bring fairness and justice into the world. So you can be involved in all sorts of groups, movements, political movements with this placement. You want to make a change. You want to fight for those in need. This can also get you into animal rights as well, because Rahu definitely is connected to non-human entities also. So this definitely makes you someone who wants to fight for social rights, animal rights. You are all about the welfare of society. Sometimes, though, because this is ruled by Saturn, you can feel all sorts of restrictions and delays where you don't get things to move in the way that you want it to. So this could cause some frustration sometimes. This placement, though, is definitely a blessing for other people in the world. You're a very selfless and compassionate person who goes all out to help those in need. Sometimes you could come off as a little bit cold or shy with this placement sometimes, though. You could hold back your emotions at times, especially in really close and intimate situations, because your focus really is towards the collective at large. But definitely, you could become very popular with this placement. You do very well in larger groups and communities. If you have Mars in Pisces, this is a powerful position of Mars because Pisces is ruled over by Jupiter, and Mars and Jupiter are friends with one another. So similar to Mars in Sagittarius. But this has a little bit of a different flavor to it. Mars in Pisces makes you a bit of a spiritual warrior. You're someone who fights for what you believe in, who fights for the truth, who fights for the well being of others. You have huge empathy and compassion because Pisces is all about love to the highest level. So you are extremely loving and open to people from all walks of life. And you fight for the underdog, you fight for the little guy. You are all about helping those in need. You're very charitable, very generous with this placement. You want to do good for society. You could work in any field that has to do with caring for people and really making a positive impact. This becomes extremely important to you. You don't feel completely motivated unless you are able to help those in need. And because Pisces rules the natural 12th house, which is all about foreign lands, definitely you are adventurous. You love to travel. You love to go to foreign places to meet people from foreign backgrounds with this position for sure. Sometimes you could actually move to a foreign location because sometimes this shows that your energy levels really are heightened when you are in connection to things from foreign locations. This can make you very creative as well because Pisces has the hugest imagination in the zodiac. So you could do very well in film, photography, in script writing, in novels, all sorts of works of art. You have huge imagination when you channel your energy in this direction. The problem with this placement sometimes, though, is that this could make you a little bit confused in your actions. Mars in this sign of Pisces doesn't really have a direction. Remember that Pisces is all about the fish that are swimming in different directions. So sometimes there's inability to focus on your task. You can get sidetracked with this placement. So sometimes there's a need to find a level of discipline and focus, but it's very difficult. You don't like to stick to solid routines. But ultimately, you're very well received by others because you're very kind, you're very easygoing and polite with this placement. So other people favor you, other people give you their support with this placement, which is very auspicious. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.